Today we are going to see about how to become a MERN Stack developer. So we will be starting with setting up MongoDB as well as how it works, and we'll connect it with Node and Express. And after connecting with Node and Express, we will also integrate it with React. And yeah, that is the main goal of here. And we'll be connecting everything, and we'll be running a local test on it. So that is the main goal. I'll start very simple. So we'll be creating a very minimalistic app where from React we will be calling Node, and then from Node we'll be getting the data from the Mongo database. Okay. Yeah. So let's take an example here. This is MongoDB, and this is our Node.js server, and this is our web application, which will be in React. Okay. So here our React will be running in user's browser. Is my screen visible? I think so, yes. Okay. So from the web application, we will be calling to Node.js. And then from the Node.js, we'll be calling to our Mongo database. Okay. So this will be in one server, and this will also be in one server, or we can run both of them in a single server. And from the user browser, we will be hitting an API. And from that API, the Node.js will take the data from MongoDB and send it back to the React. That is what we are going to do. So I'll be starting it with very simple steps. Okay.
Rahul, Purnima here. Just a
Yeah.
request. We would like you to be little louder.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So am I audible now?
Yeah, pretty clear. Pretty clear. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So here from the web application, React will be calling the Node.js, and the Node.js will be getting the data from MongoDB, and from the MongoDB will be passing the data to Node.js and will be sending it to the React. So that is the main goal of our application today. Will be creating. First, initially we'll be setting up MongoDB. So I'll be showing how to do, like how to search and how to set it up and get it working, so that you can explore more further, and you can just I'll also say which all website to get into to explore more about it and see how advanced you can go for it, right? So initially, yeah, we'll be going to installation of MongoDB. So currently I'll be using Mac OS, and also I'll be explaining how on Windows should do. So in Mac OS, it is pretty straightforward. We just need to install Brew, and we need to install Brew, install Community 5.0, and then yeah, that is the 2 steps. Yeah, after doing this 2 steps, it will get installed, and we just need to start it. Brew service start MongoDB edition. So in Windows, same way, you will be getting an exe, and you'll be So you will be configuring which domain and which name and which password and for which file, and it will be installed, and you can just start the service. Okay, so you can just trial and error on this installation of Windows as well as Windows install on Mac. There are a lot of um, website and how to install this step. It is pretty straightforward. So already I have installed, that's why I'm not installing it again. So yeah, so yeah, I'll just start the service. If it is already, I think it will be already running. Yeah, mine is saying it's already started. So here in my application, a MongoDB service is being started, and also it is running in this service. So if you are deploying it AWS, you will be starting the service in AWS. Suppose if you are running in GCM, so you will be installing this MongoDB and starting it there in that service. Okay, so we will install Node, and we will try to communicate with the pre-existing MongoDB. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going into my documents and I'm creating a folder or directory where I'll start as MERN stack test. Okay, and then I'm going into the folder. Now what I'm going to do is yeah, first of all, in order to run Node, you have to install Node. So in order to install Node, there is a brilliant library or a manager. It is nvm. So it is both, it is there for both. It is a shell script. It is both for Windows as well as Mac. You can install it, and I have already installed it. Now it is, if I can just see if it is installed or not by just typing Node or Node version. So uh, Node is a service where we can run our code in our local console or as a web browser itself. So suppose if I can do calculation, like anything, any calculation can be done. So yeah, so I'm going to set up a Node uh, service or Node backend service. Okay, npm init. So I'm inside this. Okay, sorry sir, I need to close this. So I am inside this MERN stack test. Here I'm going to create a Node backend service. Okay, so in order to create that, I'll give npm init. So it will set up all the naming, everything. It will be automatically set up. So the package name, the version name, and the description, and the index.js file, and the test command. I'm just giving the default for, I'm just clicking enter so that it will take the default. So now it is being set up. So now we'll go and just look at the file, or I'm just opening the Visual Studio Code. Okay. Okay, so we have this package JSON. When we typed out npm init, right? So it will set up this file for us, this up package.json file for us. This is a, a path where we'll be going to create the node server. Okay, and so yeah, so package JSON is ready, and we'll be setting up a index.js. So here is where we are going to write our code, and this is our dependencies. Everything will be managed in this. So this is, you can see this as a metadata, or all the information about the project will be here. And yeah, so yeah, this is one. And first we can check, without package.json also this will work, but in order to have a complete dependencies, everything running, we need this. In order to have this npm packages, we need package.json. So npm packages are libraries which someone else wrote and have it for us, and we can use it for our projects. So here, now we are going to, we have already started Mongo server, right? So Mongo server is simple. Just we need to brew service start MongoDB, and MongoDB community, whichever version you are installed, you can just start it. And for the Windows, it will be the same. We can just start. When Windows has an UI console also, you can directly, I think it is Compass, you can just click by start and stop. So currently our MongoDB is running in our system, and we are opening this index.js file. And what we can do is, yeah, so I'll just show how to start. So if you say MongoDB double three schools, will give an example of um, so yeah, so we can, this is how they have created it. Okay, first we need to install MongoDB. That is the main thing. First we need to install MongoDB. So what we do is, we go to the terminal, even this terminal is fine, and and do npm install MongoDB. Okay, so this will install MongoDB for us. So if you can see in the node modules, there will be uh, MongoDB. Node modules is a container for all the libraries which we use in the application. Okay, yeah. And package location, you'd never have to see. It is like version control for our package.json. We don't need to consider. Just consider about this index.js, where we're going to write our code. Okay, so first we're going to run this file. So how to run this? So all this is pure complete JavaScript, right? So yeah, here, if you know, the prerequisite of this is, you should know little bit of JavaScript to make this things understand. So suppose we need to run this file, right? So I'll just have a function called main, and then yeah, I'll have this, and I'm calling this main. So yeah, so what it does is, actually our default port is on the MongoDB is running on the local host in this port, and it is trying to connect to this database. Okay, so this database, if it is not created, it will automatically create it for us. So we can create another so we can have anything random. So let's say some db. Okay, so we will see whether some database is created. So like node index.js. So database is created. So we in the MongoDB we have created something called some DB. Okay. So what is Mongo? Mongo is a database where it stores the values in an unstructured format. If you take SQL, right? SQL will be in a tabular format, and it will have this primary key and foreign key as well as in order to join it and all. Here, MongoDB will be in an unstructured format. Maybe I can just yeah. So it will be in this format. If you can see, it will be in this format where we can have it is a JSON format where we'll be having key and value, and this key can have a value object itself, and that object can have key and value, and key and value, and this object can also have like yeah. If I just copy this, and this can also have, okay, not this one. So even I can say this some key equal to some. So it can go to any structure, how much ever the nest it supports, it will be supporting this Mongo. It is just unstructured. So here, if you see in the SQL, you will be having structured query language. You will be having first name, last name in one table, and the address in the other table, and you will be joining it with the ID or something, right? Here it will be in the nested format, and that is the difference. And everything is a document. So in SQL it will be like rows, and here we will be calling it as document, and the table will be as collections. So currently we created some database as some DB as a database, and it is there in our MongoDB. Okay. So we'll go back to our W3 schools where how we will be learning. We just created a database. So they created M by DB, we created some DB, and we are going to create collection for it. Okay. So collection is like similar like creating a table. So so we are just copying this code and just replacing this code. So what is happening is, so in our some Mongo client is trying to connect with this URL. With this URL, in the sense MongoDB is running in this port in our service, right? And it is trying to connect some DB, which is the name we have given, and yeah, and in the name so this is we are getting the database object. So some database, in some database, and in that instance of DBO, we are creating a collection. Once again, we are creating a collection. Okay, we are creating a collection called customers, and in that customers, we are just after creating the collection called customers, we are just printing out console log of collection created. That's it. and we are closing the database. Okay, we are not closing the Mongo server itself. We are just closing the connection from the Node.js to the Mongo database. This is the code. So I'm just running it again. So here, when I run node.index.js, this has been this has been running, and now the main function will be calling, and this all the lines are being executed, so that the collection created successfully is being shown here. Okay, so we have created a collection. Now what we need to do is, so this is the hierarchy. So in some DB, this is our database name, some DB, we have created a collection called customers, and in the customers collection we are going to have a document what we have seen earlier, right? So that will be, we'll be using it, we'll be inserting it, like this will have multiple documents. Okay, so this is fine. So yeah, we'll be trying to create a collection. Okay, so in order to insert a collection, so yeah, so in order to insert a collection, right? Okay, what is, this is the same code. It is connecting, and it is connecting to our database and creating a database object. Creating a database object, and then in the database object we are inserting a document. So we can have anything like address, name, address, okay, or message, hello all, okay, anything we can have it. We can have in double quotes, or the keys can be in without double quotes also, but the value should be in double quotes. And we can have any data, like we can have the post value, the anything. Okay, so what you are doing is, we have already created a collection called customers, right, back in our code. So that now what we are connecting is inserting this object, my object, into a customer collection. So our MongoDB is running in the port 27017, right? Our MongoDB is running. Mongo server is running. In that Mongo server, we are creating a DB using Node.js, and then we are creating a collection name. The collection name is customers. We are creating the collection name, and then in that collection name we are creating this object, we are inserting this object. Okay, so you might think, so if I run this and this application will go off, right? If I close it, it will go off, right? No, the application will end, but whatever we post it, right, whatever we create, it will go to the database which is running. Our Mongo server is already running. That's why we are just deleting the code and replacing it again, so that whatever we create, it is being inserted into the Mongo database. So here what it should do is, here what it should do is it should insert this my object into this customer collection. This is a document, and we are inserting the document into this collection. So it is telling one document inserted successfully. So this is the console log which we are printing. So once this is successful, it will show one document inserted successfully. So we know that our document is being successfully inserted into the database. Okay. So next we need to find what is there in our database. So yeah. So this is the so what is happening in some database, dbo.db.some database, we are in the customer collection, we are finding one, trying to find one. This is the where condition. If in the SQL we'll be giving a where condition, right? This is a where condition in we can give name equal to something. If we have that condition, we can give any condition here. So we'll see what is there inside it. Okay. So yeah, we will try to run this. So inside this object, we have name, and we have address, and we have message, and we have post. So this is coming from the database. Okay. So now we have created some database into some data into the Mongo database. Okay. Then we'll remove all this code. We don't want. Now we will be creating node server. So the most popular server is the Express server. So Express helps us to communicate through the REST principles from the front end, and it will also it'll help us to the node will be listening to a particular port. Okay. So I'll just explain it in the code. It will be much more understanding. So now we have installed npm install Express, right? So Express is there, will be there in the node modules. If you see, okay, I don't know, maybe it's installed. Okay. Okay, maybe it's already installed. Okay. So I'll just, yeah, even you can just convert this format to any other format using type equal to module, and then we can just make the code much more pretty. Import okay. And so we have installed this Express, right? So in order to check whether it is installed or not, we can just hover on it with the command click. So it will say whether it is there in the node modules or not. And yeah, Mongo client is also there. Okay, so we have this Mongo client to communicate to the Mongo server which is running in our system, and we have this Express. Okay, so yeah, so this is the URL where our Mongo is running, and so all this is a boiler codes where we have to write it when we are running the application. So what it is happening is Express will give an instance of a Express will give a function definition, and the function definition we have to call it to utilize it. Okay, so this app has the instant, and okay, so now we are converting our just node.js file to a node.js node server. How we are doing is our Express server, how we are doing is we are doing app.listen, and we need the port. Okay, we need a port in which it is running, it should run. Okay, so we are giving the port name, comma, comma, so console log of app is running in so app will be running in our local host 8080. This is our backend where what we are setting up. So this is the code to set up backend. That's it. Our backend is ready. Okay, this is it. Yeah, this is such simple thing, and it is ready. So how to test it, right? So we can just run the same node index.js. Okay, so there is some problem. Okay, the spelling is yeah, now it is working. So it is showing that app is running in localhost 8080, right? So now the app is running. How to test it? We can just click it. Yeah, so if you see this cannot get, then this is the app, the service is running perfectly. Now what we need to do is app dot get. So there is something called REST principles, where we have get, put, post, delete, update, and patch. Okay, so get is something where we need we will be using to get a value or a resource. Okay, so put is something, suppose if you are okay, I'll come to post first. So post is something, suppose you while logging into this Zoom, right, you will be giving this first name, second name, as well as your phone number, and clicking submit, right? So what it does internally is it calls a post from the front end, and they will have their own their backend. They can be running in Node, or they can be running in any other Java, or any other services. So the from the front end, it will be, they'll be calling a post service, which will create a identity for you in the database. Okay, I'll come to this all this later. First, I'll just see how I'll show you how get works. If you're not getting it, don't worry. I'll just explain it 1 second after connecting everything up. Okay. So so what we're going to do is, in the app.get, we will be connecting to the yeah, from the URL. If in the from the website, if someone types slash get me the details from Mongo DB, get me the, okay, so this should not, I'm just for the sake of explaining, I'm having such a big thing. Maybe, through REST principle, it will be just the name of the resource. Just for the sake of example, I'm giving you, it's a big thing. Get me the details from MongoDB from the collection customers. Okay, so this is the URL route, and okay, this will accept a callback with request and response. Okay, I'll just explain you. I'll just, after typing, I'll just explain. So now what we will be doing is we will okay, we will go to this we'll just copy this. Yeah, and okay, our database was some database, right? Some DB. So the URL is there, and the database is some DB. Yeah, and from the collection dbo.collections of customers, we are finding the value which we are, yeah. And what we need to do is we need to do response dot send off the result. So I'll come back to the, yeah, this diagram. So from this application, from the browser, we are hitting the Node.js, and from the Node.js, it will get the details from the MongoDB, and it will be sending it back to us. Okay. So yeah, I'll be closing, and I'll be running it again. I'll be running the Node.js again. So there is an error. Okay, okay. Yeah, now it is running fine. So we'll be copying this. Yeah. So if you can see, get me the details from MongoDB from the collection customers. So it has given us the details from the MongoDB. So what we have done, we are hosting in localhost 8080, and this is our get URL. From when we hit the get URL, it is giving me the details of it. Okay. So I'll just rename to customer. Okay. For I should run it again. I should close and run it again. That's why then only it will work. Yeah. So now it is working fine, pretty fine. We can also use a postman to verify. Yeah, now it's not needed. Okay. So now we are. So this is our node server. This is our node server, and the node service is communicating to the Mongo database, and this is our route. This is the route we are exposing to the front end, this slash customer. So whenever user does slash customer, it will go to Mongo database, and it will go to the some DB database, and it will go to the collection customers, and it will read the collection, and it will be sending it to us. Okay. So why I'm copying pasting from W3 schools is in order to make you understand how easy it is to directly get the data from here. You can, there are a lot of options. We'll go one by one. So find here, we can just get what is there in the customer. This is what we have done. Yeah. And yeah, now we have connected from the front end customers to the node, and the node is communicating the Mongo database, right? Yeah, now in order to bring React into it, right? So what we need is we need the React framework to communicate to the Node.js framework, and the Node.js to communicate to the Mongo, and the Mongo will be sending the data to Node, and the Node will be sending to the React. Okay, so yeah, I'll start with the React JS. So React is an simple or a easy library where in order to create React app, we just need this command. Okay, so one second, I'll just close the server which is running, and I'm going to install React application. Okay, so the React application is installed here. Okay, so even the React application has this node modules and this public folder and src folder and package.json thing. So the package.json is for to understand what all are there in this application, and what all libraries are is dependent on it, everything, and the name of the version, everything. And the source file we have this JavaScript, CSS, as well as index all the CSS, and mainly you should focus on the app.js where it will be starting. So yeah. Okay, so all these are other unnecessary data, we can just delete it, we don't need it at all. Yeah, this all this is a boilerplate which is bringing from the React application. In order to start React application, right, I'll just create a new tab, cd React application. I'm going to into the React application and giving npm start. So if you see in localhost port 3000, our React app is running, and in our and in the our node servers should be running in port 8080. Okay, and our React app is running in the port 3000. So what we are going to make is we are going to call from React app to Node.js. So because these port are different, and there will be cars issue. So the cars issues. So if the request is not from the same origin, there will be a the browser won't allow to make a call, or the server will block it because it is from a different port. Um, you can read about it, that cars CORS in internet. Yeah. So in order to have accept every origin, in the node server, we need to install one more package called npm install cars. Okay, so here in order to accept every port, we just need to do cars. Yeah, this is it. So now our customer route will accept the application call from the port 3000 as well. Okay, so that is the meaning of having this cars. Even you can also, what is this app.use is like for every API, right? So we can have multiple APIs. So this is app.get, right? So we can have another one get called customer 123 or 234, anything like that, and everything will execute this first and then only call this. So yeah, I'll just remove this. We don't need it. Okay, and I'll just run our npm. Okay, what is the problem? Cars is not defined. Okay, import cars from cars. Okay, so this cars will be utilized here now. Okay, now we'll go to the our React application. So in this React, if you can see, import React, comma, use effect, use state. So React has something called predefined hooks, where this is in order to make function call on the beginning of while the page is been loading, we should have this use effect where we'll be so when we give this use effect, this will execute when the page is loading. So this is a page, right? In order to make a function call when this page loads, before the page loads, or while the page is loading, we need to have this use effect. And this use state is in order to maintain some state. Suppose if state is something like a variable or a memory, where suppose if you want to store the user's action, like user has clicked this or user has done that, or if once user has done that, you need to do this, everything can be stored in the state. So what we are going to do is we are going to store values inside the state. Okay, so the response from node, comma, set response from node. Okay, use state, I'm giving null because the null is the default value. Null is the default value which we are giving. We can give anything. We can give double quotes or anything. We can give. I'll give double quotes. So this is the response from the node server, and this is the set response from the node server. Where suppose yeah, I'll just type out the code and you will be able to understand. Okay, now we need to make a function API call from React, right? So what we can do is fetch of http :// localhost 8080 comma customers. That was the route we were giving, right? Okay, so here dot then response. If you have what is fetch, if you want to see like fetch is an API which is there default in the browser. So yeah, so what we have to do is we have to call our API like this, and we'll be getting a response. And because our response is also JSON, we have to convert it into the response JSON, and we need to get the value of it. Okay, so we're just copy pasting it and changing the local host, which is everything is running in our local host, right? That's why customer. Suppose if you are running in a different virtual machine, you will be giving the IP like this. Okay, so now our this will be getting the response, and this will be console logging the response. But we don't need that. We need to set the response what is the response? The data is the response. What we are doing is we are setting it, and we need to show it somewhere. We'll delete this thing. Okay, so because this is a JSON, we'll not be able to show it in the page before stringifying it. Only we should make it as a string, and then only we will be able to see. So now the code is ready. The app is also, the React JS will compile automatically. We don't need to rerun it again and again. And we'll see whether this port is running or this port is not running. Okay, now our app server is also running. App is running in the HTTP localhost 8080, and our React app is running in localhost 3000. Okay. So when I loaded, right, what happened was in the React, it is running localhost 3000. In the React, we are getting the response from the MongoDB. So back to square one, where I was explaining, from the web application, we are making a call to Node.js, and from the Node.js, we are calling to MongoDB and getting the data, and it will be sending back to the Node.js, and from the Node.js, we'll be sending back to the React application. Okay. So, okay, now I'll explain you. Yeah. So how to explore more about it. So if you want to learn React, right, you can just read this. You can go by examples. So this is a straightforward one. We can directly learn. So if you start applying it, right, if you start applying it, debugging it, like if you change some values by deleting it and creating something, if you learn by doing, it will be a better way to learn for you all. So React has an excellent documentation comparing to others, and so now we are communicating from React to Node and Node to Mongo, right? So even so in Node, so even this website tells what we have already done. So if you want to restrict something, if you want to restrict the user to, you can also do a post. So the fetch, now we are doing a get, right? So once the page has been loaded, or suppose suppose we create a button, um, we create a button, and on click of the button, right, on click of button, if you need any action to be done, so suppose if you want to make an API call, we can do that also. So we can do that, and that will go to our server. In the server, we'll be creating app.post. So in the server, we'll be creating app.post, so we can have the same name. So in the request, we'll be having request.body, and we'll be sending it to the Mongo client. I'll just copy it from the W3 scores. Yeah. So suppose we need to insert one more. Okay. Okay. Request.body. I'm just passing it here. So this is coming from the front end. The post.customer, we can have the same name because this is different, right? We can have the same name, and customer, we are just sending request.body, and it will go to store in my object, and it will insert into my object, and we can send back response dot acknowledge. Okay, no, we can just send. We can just send. We can also have a status code. And we can okay, there are a lot of status codes. Suppose if it is successful, we'll be sending 200. If it is if the resource is not there, we'll be sending 404. And if it is created, we will be having 203. And there are a lot of status code like that. Okay, so we'll be sending this is success. Okay, yeah, so now we have created this route, and we can just search how to post in fetch. So this is get. So in order to post it, right, we have this we have this function directly. You can directly copy it, or we don't need all those things. We just need, okay, we can copy all this. We don't need this, we in same way, if you have this, right, localhost customer to localhost customer, and if we give the value, right, it will be storing when we call it into this function. So post data of what to say, post data is expecting what? Yeah, it is only expecting. Okay, post data is not expecting anything. Okay, if you just call post data, that is enough. So it will post this value to the our MongoDB. So this is how we connect our React as well as Node as well as MongoDB and communicate with each other.